good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and even probably some good overnights to some that are watching this. I want to thank you for joining us for our webinar series here at OnPrintShop and Radix, as we're going to talk about capturing the label promotional print market with version 10.1 of OnPrintShop. And, we love to talk about this. So your speakers and your hosts today, you see us on the screen. I'm Trent Foreman, regional sales manager. I'm located here in Arkansas in the U.S. And this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. Also, my partner in crime, Nimish Patel, he's there at the Radix World headquarters, home of OnPrintShop in Ahmedabad, India, on a festival day in India. So we are happy that he is with us. And we're going to kind of split this conversation into a couple of parts. And I'll talk a little bit. And of course, Nimish and his great technical expertise is going to talk about, how we're seeing this put into applications. So if you have questions, again, you see our emails are on the screens. You can chat with us here in the webinar, and if you have a question, hit that Q&A button down there on the bottom end, and we'll answer questions as we go through. So, objectives for today: latest market trends. We're talking about growth opportunities, and that's the key part. Is those growth opportunities. Want to overcome expansion challenges with technology and, offering those label and promotional products, how to do that really in an online setting, not just to capture, maybe obviously capture new business. We love new business. New business growth is a key topic that we love to talk about here at OnPrintShop, but also how to help supplement that current customer base and get those repeatable orders. And then obviously Q&A is something we always love to do as well. So when we talk about the Venn diagram of, the convergence of print segments, and this is great. And I really am looking forward to Printing United in Atlanta coming up in October, because NAPCO always does their breakfast. They talk about all the research they've done, over the past year. And so I look for the new trends to see if, either the trends are going in the same direction or if we see something new popping up. But this nice convergence of print segments has started to become closer together. So in the past, most commercial printers, you start to see them overlap with promotional products. Same thing goes in graphics and sign. You see that big overlap in promotional products because, with the invention of, ASI and all of the different associations and finding these vendors to do things that you can't do. Outsourcing is becoming one of the big components of traditional print. Even on the commercial side, those graphics and sign, and even just promotional product and packaging people, you're being able to use companies like our great friends at Forover to be able to provide traditional commercial print. So as those segments start to get more and more efficient and easy and economical and within your reach, you start to see this Venn diagram really overlap to where you have a lot of people that are hitting right here inside this center area where they are hitting all four of these segments in one place. And that's because they're looking for growth and expansion opportunities. So, NAPCO did this research. They presented this. We've shown this in a couple of different ways. But really, if you're looking at the 40+% areas of where people are wanting to expand, and that being in the label area, coming from packaging, getting into more labeling, which is vinyl graphics and things like that. But the garment industry and promotional products, especially in implant. I had this conversation last week with a customer, an implant customer, that's saying, "Hey, I need to be able to provide more of this type of product to my customer base, which is an internal customer base, but also be able to go out and, maybe expand my offerings a little bit." So, we see where promotional products, garments, labels being one of the big ones, and then even just graphics and signs, graphic installation, in packaging is really starting to hit hard. So that's why we kind of tailored a little bit of this to talk about label production and the types of packaging applications. And I had a great example that I really wanted to show. But I mean, when you think about today, when something comes to you in the mail, we order from, online retailers day in, day out. With my daughter going to college, we've had a lot of packages hitting our doorstep over the last 2 months, and every one of them is coming. You don't have to necessarily open the box to figure out what it is anymore. And where this really comes into play with the fact that, you look at Orifol, you look at 3M, you look at the vinyl products, and the technology of the vinyl material is becoming better and better to work with. Labels, graphically correct, nice and pretty, maybe customized, short run. Labels are becoming something that is very easy to add into your mix of products. So when we talk about, our objectives on packaging, obviously producing that compelling, visually attractive artwork is at the top of the list. And again, when you're talking about now with, label printers, like Epson, had a conversation with one of our customers in Canada with Jeff over at Lacoste Printing. He's talking about, he had kind of put his eye on maybe that new Epson label printer. You talk about Mamaki and, Canon with the Colorado being able to produce, those vinyl labels. Life becomes a little bit easier, or you find a partner that has the ability to do that and you can outsource to them. So, offering more customized version to packaging options, I think goes right along with that visually attractive artwork. When we're talking about keeping up with the latest decorative print, maybe you've been doing a label on a package for one way for the last, 4 or 5 years. It's time to change things up. You're not necessarily sitting on just a massive inventory of stock. And then, you look at where everything is. What I think is funny, or not necessarily funny, but interesting, is that, there are still a lot of factors that go in there, like meeting environmental standards, and objectives, using smart packaging, having a QR code or a tag to improve engagement. So, I've started seeing packages come in that has a QR code that gets you back to your website to maybe order something else, or maybe that, it's a hat and you want to get a shirt to go with it. Well, here's the QR code that takes you right to maybe the shirt that goes along with that particular product that you ordered. Complying, there's a lot of labeling regulations. You want to make sure you're in there and accommodating some requirements of, e-com retailer. So if you're doing this, or you're fulfilling for maybe a larger, a different customer vendor group, you want to make sure that you're working with them. So what we've been able to see is that, with e-commerce, and we talk about e-commerce day in and day out, order management and e-commerce, that's still on the rise. It really started hitting the ground about 3 years ago. Obviously, I'm not going to even say the C word, but we're still seeing that on the rise. And we think that's going to boost the label and packaging opportunities, because now with technology, it's becoming easier for customers to find you, but also for you to be able to provide your current customer base with that nice, easy repeat order operation. Or, we're going to change things up, but it's almost produce on demand at this point. So the buying habits, and that's where we talk about, they're changing. This new generation of customers that are coming in, they're looking online before they're calling you. They're wanting to see, okay, I want to be able to order this. I want to design this. I want to put my design on this, see how it looks like, and submit that job via an online portal, probably before they even, they've determined they're going to buy. They've set it up. They've looked at the price, and they've probably ready to submit. And you never even know they're looking at them before they even give you a call to find out really what's going on. So we start now talking about the other side of this at the actual printer level. What's really stopping you from wanting to do this? And one, obviously, is manual processes, and two is outdated solutions. And that's where we really come into play. We want to address these challenges. Manpower dependency is still an issue across the country. It's one of the topics we've really been talking about over the past 2 to 3 years, is the high cost and the time. I mean, manual processes are becoming an outdated solution. A lot of it is still because, finding the right people that can work, turnover is still very hard. And, the fact that, it may take you an extra 20 minutes to manually input an order from a customer when it could have already been in process and probably be completed in most cases. Limited products and services, people like to stay in their lane. Hey, this is what we do really, really well, and this is what we're going to do, without expanding ourselves out to try to bring in an increased, revenue stream. Customer experience, the platform that you may have doesn't support those new print segments. Hey, we see how people want to stay in their lanes, and we do something really, really well, and this is how we want to do it. And that doesn't always necessarily work. And then obviously data has to flow. So we talk about a centralized data hub for business analysis. What's selling well, what's not selling well, where do we need to maybe put a little bit of marketing effort into? We need to be able to see that really at the touch of the button. And so that's where, we talk about an outdated and decentralized solution is where some of the challenge, those challenges start holding you back, where a lot of your time goes into the data entries and into multiple platforms. Let's just not talk about maybe your MIS, but an order coming in from your e-commerce have to manually input it into MIS. That customer gets manually inputted into, say, HubSpot or Salesforce or a CRM that you're using to then have to bill them out of a QuickBooks or a Xero. So we really want to be able to change that process and have data flow back and forth. And then you talk about customer communication, because it's not necessarily Skype anymore or an email. It's a phone call, it's WhatsApp, it's accounting software that can be sending through. There's a lot of new customer communication style platforms that are out there that help to increase that, follow-up touch. Hey, an email 4 months later with, we thank you again for ordering this particular product. Tell us what you think about it. Give us some feedback so we can make it better. And then that goes along with keeping that customer experience. You've got to keep it consistent. There's a reason why customers go back to specific online retailers. You talk about the big ones, Target, Walmart, Amazon, which is the largest. They do things the same way. It's just like when you walk into a store, a large box retailer, and they've changed the layout, and now you don't know where that one thing is you're coming in to buy. It's now moved to the other side of the store, and you got to go hunt for it. So keeping consistent with your customer experience, finding that data analysis, and then it all comes into the one thing of, you don't want to limit yourself on products and services. If you want to add, if you're a commercial printer doing a lot of traditional printed work, the postcards, the mailings, the brochures, and you want to add in now wide format, well, you need to make sure that, can you support that wide format product and be able to take in dimensional shipping, and how are we going to package it and box it up and ship it out, let alone how can you show it on a screen with a canvas that'll adjust to what you're trying to order. So there's a lot of challenges that we want to help you be able to overcome, and I'll pass the ball here to Nimish to talk about those particular strategies to really overcome expansion with technology. So it's all you.
Thanks a lot, Trent, for sharing that valuable insights. And I guess everybody would agree that one of the way to grow the sales as well as expanding the business is getting into a new print segment. And that's what even customers are demanding. For example, talking about OnPrintShop, we are going in one exhibition, so we always have a commercial print partner. So we do like brochures and business cards and all. But now I was just talking with Trent, like, where can we get these t-shirts done? So we have to find another vendor. So as a B2B and corporate companies, they really don't want to work with multiple vendors. It is just like the current print partners are forcing them to go with another vendor. But if we have one vendor who can do all the possible, for example, products and promo for us, we would be more than happy to choose that vendor and then maybe even change the vendor. So that's where the industry is going. And more corporate companies are looking for, the B2B or B2C buyers are looking for convenience. And then they don't want to work with multiple vendor. Even I was talking to one of our customer, they also mentioned like their corporate customers are forcing them or like pushing them. I would not say forcing them, but pushing them for an online services, because from the corporate side, they have to put 1 or 2 people just to coordinate with their multiple vendors. So if they have one vendor and if they're able to offer everything from one part of the platform, they want to change all the vendor. Doesn't matter what the cost is, because they're already saving 1 or 2 people involvement and time working with this multiple vendor. And that's where we also connected multiple vendors and a lot of things with them. So it's not necessary that if you need to get into a multi-print segment, you have to buy new equipments. Yes, you can always buy new equipments and then you can expand your print facilities, but there are also ways with the help of technology, you can connect with multiple vendors and create that ecosystem which allows you to offer any range of products, whatever products you do in-house, and a lot of other products which large players are doing. For example, 4over. So we have a lot of print shops who are doing digital printing in-house, larger quantity. They are fulfilled with 4over. We have promo suppliers also connected with the platform. But to begin with, what really is needed is like some kind of system to allow customers to interact. And when we talk with print companies, they also say like we already have an MIS or we already have an accounting platform, and that's where we get all the data. If any customer calls, we have a data in seconds. But what about your customers? So if you have a backend MIS, if you have a backend accounting platform, you have made your life easy. But again, your customer life is still the same because they always have to email you, phone you, call you to interact with you. And that's where OnPrintShop is helping print service providers to offer modern customer experience. And that's where it becomes an interactive business with your corporate customers. So even though you have an MIS, but then I would say your customers are not getting any benefit. They are not able to log in, maybe personalize, get an estimate, upload the file. Yeah, they might have certain pages, but then again, the rest of the thing is always manual. Even if they need an update on the order status, they might have to email. Or if they need, for example, the invoicing, or if they need the past order history, they might have to connect to the sales rep, and then it flows into the system. So the very first thing what technology helps you to is build a basic online presence. And today, setting up an online storefront is not that complicated. In terms of it comes with a lot of ready stuff, ready templates. There are also solution expert at our end also who helps you to set up all the possible products on the storefront. And the second thing is all the estimation can also be automated. So then convenience becomes an easier. For example, your customers can easily go inside the storefront and get an estimate right away. If it is a B2C, you can also create a lot of options with online designing as well. There are multiple designer studios, 3D preview, you can do wonders with the platform. And if you're into B2B, you can also set up the storefront and create a fulfillment kind of platform for the customers who can buy print on demand. At the same time, they are also able to buy some promo items, for example, apparels or labels or stickers or bags or bottles, for example. So that way they have one centralized storefront which is provided by you, and then they are fulfilling, means you guys are fulfilling the orders in the back end. If you have a vendor connected, it also goes to the vendor. So I'll also show you the examples, but this is a quick overview, for example, what technology can help. Another major challenge print companies are facing is estimation, because every time customer needs something, it has to go to the channel, it has to be submitted as a request, as an email sometimes, or maybe as a written request. Then somebody at the estimation team will create an estimate, send it to the customer, and by the time customer gets an estimate, it is already maybe 24 hours or 48 hours. And then customer will say, okay, our estimation is fine, I need it maybe next day. And then you only have maybe one day, because customer would say, I already emailed you 3 days back that we need these items, and then 2 days was just gone in estimation. And these estimations are very simple to configure into an online platform, whether it could be any product. It could be a complex book, multi-page brochures, or simple products, for example, like a business card, promo, packaging. Any type of product can be set up into the system. So this really helps customer to get an estimation even though it is out of office hours. So sometimes they email you and then you're already not in the office, or it is a weekend, they have to wait maybe 2 days. So anybody can go online and get an estimate, which is very simple to an estimate from the online system as well. And then this is a back-end processes. Now, as Trent was mentioning, one of the bottleneck today for a lot of print company is their own technology, because the platform they have invested, either they have developed something on e-commerce, maybe started with an e-commerce platform like Shopify, Magento, or any, and they're really good to start. And they are amazing platform and made for wider industry, but then it has its own limitations because they are more created for the static items. They were never created as a specialized platform for print provider. So they had a good start with an e-commerce, but now they want to add packaging, they want to add photo products, they might want to add promo products, and now they are stuck because they already put so much of effort into an e-commerce, and then e-commerce doesn't allow them to get into multi-print segment. Also, backend is completely, for example, standalone, because when you get an order in the e-commerce, it doesn't have the production workflow kind of systems. It doesn't allow you to set up that you have these many printing departments or maybe machines, and it doesn't help you connect to that workflow. So you have to just download the orders and then maybe put it into the some for example, workflow system you have, and then it doesn't connect to each other. Though still, even though you have invested into an e-commerce development, you still have many points which are not automated or isolated. At the same time, a lot of companies have invested into a web to print. Like as per the research, 70% of all print companies in US have already some kind of web to print or an e-commerce system. But the web to print system which they have invested is from many years, and it was a great platform. And all the web to prints are a great platform. But over the years, many of the web to print platforms are not updated. So today, that system has become also a bottleneck because they are outdated. Second, it only supports maybe limited sales channel or limited uh, print segment. So either they are only made for commercial. If they want to get into photo print or photo products, they have to invest in another one. Packaging, then maybe third one. And now their customers do not want to go in 3 different systems and order packaging from one and then maybe commercial from one and promo from third. So that's where the bottleneck is, and that is where OnPrintShop been listening to these challenges, and that's where we've been growing the product in order to accommodate multi-print segments. So you have one centralized system to manage all your online orders, offline orders, and then create this ecosystem which allows you to grow into multi-print segment rather than getting into developing different platforms for each segment. So I'll show you certain examples of system and also what we did, especially in the v10.1, in order to create more support for products like label, packaging, and apparel. So for label, v10.1 is already out. It's already there, the whole list, what we have upgraded into the platform. But one of the good thing and one of the best thing with OnPrintShop and what people appreciate is like we've been upgrading our solutions consistently. So if you see, we started from 2013 and we are sitting in 2023, we have upgraded more than 26 times. So we know that otherwise what will happen is like technology getting obsolete. Every day some new technology, some new browser settings, some new security patches coming. At the same time, customers' demands are also changing. So we've been upgrading this platform by listening to a lot of our customers' feedback. And that is where we've been releasing these new versions as well. So in v10.1, there are a lot of new features in the backend as well as in the front end in order to offer the best professional experience to the end client. At the same time, make the life easy, make the order production faster, seamless in the backend as well. But here we would like to highlight certain features. For example, for label products, we have done mass personalization, which I will show you in a minute. Duplicate product settings, because you can easily duplicate the product, because one of the challenges, like we know that web to print can solve our problem, but how to set it up, how long it will take. So once you have maybe your key product, you can just duplicate the product, create another one, and then maybe in a week time or 2 weeks time you can launch maybe at least your 15, 20, top 20, top 30 products into the platform, and then people can start getting estimation online. Then we have a Pixart API, especially for the photos. 4 over integrations is also part of it now. We also did a very smooth integration with the QuickBook. A lot of web to print or e-commerce might say we have a QuickBook connections, but then still there are challenges. So we went into more detail in terms of integration. So QuickBook enhancements are also there. And for t-shirt product, we also did the page size wise configurations, which I'll also show you. So the very first thing what customers are doing is like setting up this storefront and setting up an online estimator for wide range of product. And that's the step one with any print company. So how many products you have can be standardized. And to be honest, with OnPrintShop, I have seen every possible types of product people are putting into the system, starting from very easy product like a business card to complex wide format to even multi-page books and brochures, even labels, stickers, packaging. So as long as you have your pricing mechanism, if you are able to explain that this is how we price, it is very simple to create the pricing estimations. And we also have customers creating the niche, means this particular site, if we see, it is only for labels and badges. So people are also creating the niche websites targeting to a lot of customers who need this kind of product. We also have some good customers offering the labels and sticker products, which is the today's topic. But it's not necessary that you have to have multiple systems. If you say, okay, we want to create a particular online platform to offer maybe almost every types of product into one single system, you can always do it. And that is where the OnPrintShop capabilities are. You can offer commercial, wide format, labels, packaging, almost every type of product possible, the products you want to offer. And then certain product still you are offering online, but then in the back end, if you want to connect your vendors and then outsource, create that ecosystem outsourcing, you can also possibly do it. So I'll show you certain examples how this platform can really offer the best and modern customer experience, especially for online ordering as well as online designing. So this is more like label packaging and promo products. So we will focus on that. Otherwise, were all the simple products I am sure everybody would have seen, but I'm just creating something like a packaging product, for example. So packaging, we have multiple options. I'll show you, for example, what kind of products as a label and packaging we can offer. So anything like mailer box, product box, shipping box, and also some more products we have added is like pouches and paper bags and box sleeves, beer bottle stickers and go-set pouch. This could be anything. And we have also set up a lot of, for example, products like labels and stickers and apparels. So there is no, in terms of anything which you can print can be put it into the system with an online estimation, at the same time with online designing as well. So anything which you want to offer to the end customers, you can also do it. So this, what I'm showing you right now, is a B2C and retail storefront. We'll also go into a B2B environment, how we can simplify offering for B2B customer as well. So assume that this is one of the packaging product. Any small business can come to your site, select maybe length, width, height, the custom, or you can also create some predefined sizes of the box if you want, which are very standard. But then if it is a custom, they can decide that, okay, I want maybe this much of width and this much of height, and then a depth, for example, and then accordingly system would show them the estimate, and then they can also design the complete customized box. And according to the custom height, width, system would open up a designer studio, and then now they're able to personalize. So here they get all the tools. I'm sure everybody would have seen the OnPrintShop basic designer studio. So all the facilities which you have in the designer studios are offered to them. They can apply the images, apply the background text, and then they can see the preview right away. So here, for example, I'm just putting this background, and you can see now the box is ready. If I want to see an inside, how the box would look like as a close, I can also do it. So in case if I say I want to put a text somewhere here, I wanted to put on the top. Okay, it's here. Now I can see. So both the sides I'm able to put the text. If I want to put something inside, I can also put it. So as easy as that. So it's anybody can design their own personalized boxes, even consumer box. Like a lot of people are creating the personalized box when they are throwing a birthday party or an event party. Maybe they're ordering 100 boxes for the guest who are coming in the party and giving them maybe written gifts. So this is like a more consumer or personalized packaging for those kind of customers. I'll also show you what. Yeah, please.
Well, no, I was going to say, I want to add something to your comment there, because this goes back to, you talk about the comment I was made earlier, talking about buying habits of this kind of new generation. In most cases, they've probably done all of this again before you even knew they were there, before you even knew they were going to be a customer. So having the ability to show them that, they're just kind of reinforcing, what both of us are talking about. So, let you keep going, but I wanted to bring that product back, that comment back of, buying habits in the new generation of online buyers. This all happens before you even know they're a customer in a lot of cases.
True. And as one of the slide which you had put in the NAPCO, they also mentioned like more and more personalized packaging, or more and more personalization happens for an order. So before they used to buy maybe in bulk, now those orders quantities are getting down. they're ordering maybe almost the same quantity, but then more personalized version of it. And that's where having an online tool, online designing would really help. Now, this is an example of a pouch. For example, we can personalize the text, image, everything what you need from a tool. But I'll show you the best part is like a preview. So as soon as this pouch is done, the system will generate the 3D preview for the customer. So now I can see that, okay, exactly how this pouch would look like on the flexible pouches, for example. So this is like, this could be any product, to be honest. Once you define that, okay, what are my die sizes, we need some kind of understanding from you, we can set it up, and then customers are able to personalize a lot of promo products, for example. And this is where in v10.1 what we have added is added multiple print areas. So if I say, okay, I need a t-shirt, I need center front personalization, print area, and I want left sleeves and center back right sleeve. Maybe I don't need in a right sleeve, so I deselect it automatically. Price would change. But if I'm selecting 3 options and selecting maybe one specific color, it will open up the specific color into the designer, and then those 3 area which I selected. So if I don't want maybe lap sleeve personalization, that area won't even open up. So in this case, I have selected front, back personalization and the lap sleeve. So now I can personalize the part which I only selected, for example. So here, this particular area is a lap sleeve. So now I can put something on the left, front and back. So per page, I can define which area I want customer to personalize, and then they can personalize this t-shirt, and then they go to the next. And now for that also, we can show them the actual 3D preview that, okay, once the t-shirt is done, how this would look. So this is an actual t-shirt example with front and back, and then the personalization, what we have done. In 10.1, we also realized that a lot of customers are ordering the labels, like name labels and name badges. So badges and names and stickers, labels are also the one kind of family product. But now here, assume that I'm selecting this label for my small business and I'm coming onto your site and ordering it. But now assume that labels, it's not like I would order one label for me. I would need, for example, multiple labels for my team members. So I can personalize maybe one, maybe Naimish Patel, and then OnPrintShop. But then how about trend? I don't want to go 10 times and keep designing this label. So instead of that, we have created this option called mass template personalization and then manual data. So I just have to enter, for example, now I need a, maybe the first one is for me. I also need for trend. And then I keep adding, for example,
which allows you
some of
to
my
go on the
colleagues.
fly instead of having necessarily oh, I've already pre-made an Excel spreadsheet. I don't have that, but I just need to make it on the fly. This is what I love.
Correct. Yeah. Excel spreadsheet is also available, but this was more like quick ordering. They only need 5 or 10 people on it, and they don't want, for example, everyone an Excel sheet just for 5 records. So they can do it, for example, like this. And then we will give them also a preview, just a quick preview how it would look, maybe few records so they can see before he wants to confirm an order. So it says, see, the card is ready, the label is ready, that's it, and then order it. And that is where I was showing you this website. This particular customer is only having a niche site only for the badges. You would find maybe all the nice badges and nice designs, and that's where it becomes a very unique ordering and offering for their customers. And specifically, for example, many of the products, like in the packaging, it's like one of these, like a labels are also goes into the personalized packaging. So maybe you are ordering a beer, but then you want beer with the specialized label, so I can make my own design for the label. So I was just playing with the system, and I was trying to create something from trend, and this I can, for example, do it. So I put trend's picture.
Appreciate that. I always love brand
Congratulations.
success.
Trend form and cheers. And now if trend sees this on the beer bottle, and if I, for example, send him a case, there would be a different, in terms of, I'm sure he would be a very
And
thankful
for those
guy.
of you that don't know, in the US, craft brewing is a large multi-million dollar industry segment.
Yeah. And even we had one customer who was into a hotel industry, who was in hotelier, but he created a site only for hotel people. So he created a lot of labels, chocolate bar labels, and then guest labels, guest post, guest beer labels. So whatever beer you're buying, but then you're just putting the guest picture on top of it. And they were giving the chocolates, but on the chocolate they were putting one more level of wrapper with the customer's name on it. So welcome trend when they check in the hotel. So they were doing also good in terms of offering this kind of personalized product. So when it is a personalized product, then the online is the best medium. Assume that if Trend has to go and sit with someone to design this, or I have to do this from Trend, I don't have time. So that's where the online system helped me created maybe within 5 minutes, which I had to maybe find a printer, do that. So this is more like a convenience. At the same time, this is more like a modern customer experience. So that's where the game is changing. Now, assume that you might say, we don't want to get into retail, but even B2B customers are demanding the same experience. So if you are serving B2B customers, if you are commercial printers, or if you are a marketing agency and you are serving some large companies, now these large companies do not want to work with multiple vendors. They always need to work with, for example, one vendor. If they are able to offer everything into the system, they would be more than happy to do it, to be honest. And that's where we also have the same facilities for the private storefronts. Even in private storefronts, you can combine the multiple products like a print on demand items. At the same time, the promo items, like this particular storefront is dedicated for one corporate company. So as a commercial printer, you might have a larger accounts and you're offering them a private storefront, but then you can also combine your print on demand items. At the same time, the promo items, packaging, it could be anything. Now these products are even not even personalized online. So once we know that, okay, Radix is our uh, for example, our customer, and they need maybe this kind of t-shirts and this kind of promo items, we can proactively store all the items into their item, and this becomes their fulfillment site. So anything which Radix needs, we can keep expanding into the same platform, and we also have a stock for them. So we have already, for example, mentioned that if you need a bag, it's just here. And then in the back end, you might be doing this with any of the vendor. You might be doing something in-house, some products you might be outsourcing. That can be also, that particular ecosystem can also be developed. So one, whether it is your B2C, B2B, or even if you're walk-in customers, you need to have one centralized system. Another bigger challenge for print companies, like they have some kind of web to print, some handful customers are ordering from there. They have some smaller customers ordering on a different way. They have a different process for maybe a walk-in customer. So they have, in spite of having a web to print, they have like three different processes for the different sales channel. And that's where today OnPrintShop is more recognized as a print order management system rather than just a web to print or e-commerce, because now it also allows you to manage the back-end orders. In terms of anybody walks into the shop or emails you, phones you, you can also push the orders into the same system. So whatever you have said for online customers, those configurations can also be utilized, and that order can be published. Many of the print companies might say it looks good, but we don't have all the standardized products. Still, we do a lot of custom projects. And in custom projects, we need to understand the customer's requirement and then we code them. So that's why we also created a sections called custom code and project management, where you can categorize. Means almost 70-80% product you can standardize, but still certain custom projects where you need some kind of input from the customer can fill up the request, and in the back end you get that as a quote request, and then you can, for example, quote back to them, and the rest of the process is automated by the system. So once you give them the price, they get an email, they approve it, they convert into an order. And typically this kind of custom projects, people just have one link on the website, request a quote, maybe form, name, email, and then requirement, and then everything is manual. Every print company site, if you go and see, you'd always have one button called request a quote. But what happens after a quote is just like email. Then they have to call you back and say, okay, what do you need? And it takes, the research says, if you are managing in a manual way, one quote or one estimation request takes like 14 to 16 emails or conversations, and not, you're not even sure that that will be converted into an order. So this way, the custom quote and project, once it is submitted, you are able to track how many new quotation requests you have. If you've given them the price, system also allows you to track how many quotations are not till approved. You can still follow up with the client and then try to convert that quote. And apart from that, once you receive an order, system also helps you in terms of automate a lot of the processes. Like yesterday, I had a discussion with one of the customer. Now they had already some kind of system. I would not put the name like what system they were using, but they says like, okay, we have already have a system. I said, okay. So what happens once you have an order? Then they says like, he said like, we create the job ticket. So I said, good. How do you create the job ticket? He showed me the format of the job ticket and he says like, we handwrite. So I said, you already have an online system. Why do you handwrite the system? So no, our system doesn't create the job ticket. So once I get an order, I create the job ticket for my production department. And then, okay, once you assign to your production department, how do you know who is doing what? Or how do you know where the order is ready? He says like, they have to be just like, tell me like, okay, this order is ready. I said, how customer would know? He said, customer don't know. And then I said, if you have so many orders, how do you track the orders? He says, yeah, that's where the challenge is. And they are not even able to prioritize the orders. So that's where we also added some back-end processes, and we call it as a workflow management but to begin with, like every orders generated into the system, automatically a lot of documentation is done. So you don't have to do any manual work in terms of the files, the job ticket. Even we added the packing slip in the latest version. Packing slip is like, sometimes people are saying, okay, what's inside the box? I don't know. So once you create the packing slip, it would create all the item like a packing slip each and every page. I'll just open a format. So this is a maybe box number 1, which has a business card, and we also put the thumbnail. So customer, when he sees that, okay, this box has a business card inside. This is, for example, another one, which is, for example, okay, this is the trends beer label, for example. Another one could be, for example, this is another gusset pouch. So they always expect, and these are very little small things. I would not emphasize too much that, okay, system creates it, but then this is where customer differentiate you versus any other vendor. So when you send them the shipment, they will always appreciate these small things. When you download the file, system also creates a job ticket that is again production ready. So this, you don't have to create any handwritten job tickets, and we can also personalize the format of the job ticket depending on your format, the information you need. And once this order is ready to be transferred, we have created now workflow system, which is appreciated by customers a lot. And we have got the feedback from the customers who are getting 100, 200, 300 orders a day, and they are managing using the same system. So first, you can categorize your processes into the order stages, we call it. Now, those stages could be a department within your production facility. For example, every orders comes in the system, goes into order processing stage, and then somebody from your team will check if the order is correct. You might send order to the directly to the printing department, or some orders will go to, for example, the graphic department, which requires some graphic intervention. And once you transfer the job to the graphics department would have a separate login. So everybody has this dashboard. So this is a global dashboard where I could see how many jobs are in the processing, how many are in graphics, how many are in printing, and everybody gets this kind of dashboard. So if you have a graphics department manager, he will not see every orders. He only needs to see what graphic department job is. So he will see some kind of like this, and then he can click on the job. He can see basically the whole order details, what customer ordered, the files. He can download the job tickets. And once he completes the job, he just need to say, okay, my job is completed, graphic department is completed. The next job status is in print production. Simple drag and drop. But there is also a barcode system now. So if you have a barcode system, you can scan the job ticket. Job will appear on the screen. If you have the next stage in print production, you also have the barcode created. You scan that, system will move orders from this stage to the next stage. And typically this is more like, I don't know if you guys are using Trello or Monday.com. This is a very similar system. And people are using it, to be honest. When I talk to the customers, they say, okay, we get all the orders, we put in Monday.com, then we have all the staff, we assign through Monday.com. And then, yeah.
I said it earlier, 70% of time goes into data entry in multiple decentralized systems. If you could get some of that time back, what else could you be doing?
Expanding. Talking to the customers, getting their feedback, and relaxing at home. Spending time with kids.
I don't know about relaxing at home, but still, but you think about 70% of your time going into just data entry. So you just gave the example of, oh, we get the order in, but then we fill out a job. We fill out a job ticket. If you're doing, again, another example, 200 orders a day. If you're filling out a manual job ticket for 200 orders a day, I would have to think you have 3 people spending 8 hours a day that are doing nothing but filling out job tickets. Maybe you probably have multiple people. So, that becomes the piece is, why, what did you, so now we go back to the original question of what is the challenge? What is one of the challenges for why you can't expand? This is what we do, and we do it very, we do here's our product lane, and we do our product lane very, very well. And we've got a process for doing all these product lanes. Well, why can't, okay, so your standard commercial print, what makes you not be able to step into signage and graphics or packaging or labels? Well, we don't have the manpower to be able to, take on another product line, because 70% of our time goes into manual data entry. So how do we help you expand and bring in those extra things? It doesn't matter that you don't have I looked it up a minute ago when I was talking about yesterday. It doesn't matter that you have an Epson an Epson SureColor SurePress 4733 that you can do. You don't have to have that. You just need to be able to offer this to your customers. In today's world, with associations that are out there like NPSOA and others, you can find like companies to help support you in actually producing the product. Now you need to be able to offer this to your customers, either on a consumer basis or those private, those big single customers. So, everything that, this is wrapping us all back in of saying, how to effectively expand your business is where we want to sit down and talk with you. And I think that, that brings us in. There's a great example, coming up in just 2 months, Atlanta, Georgia, October 18th. We would love to sit down and talk more with you. You don't have to wait until then. Obviously, we showed you, Nimish's email, my email, also sales@onprintshop.com. We would love to just kind of start that conversation, and then we can sit down one-on-one and really be able to go, okay, here's how we have the ability to do this.
Yeah, and that's where, see, every print business, of course, yes, everybody has the same equipment, same kind of products, but then every business is running on some unique values, unique propositions, and the unique processes they might have internally to manage the order. So that's where we really put efforts in terms of understanding that. It's not like it's a business solution. So you really need to, we really need to understand your business and then explain you what are the best practices. Is sometimes we invite customers into an online, it doesn't mean that we have to sell or we have to give you a demo. You already know what is the products, but those discussions are more focusing on what are the unique processes you have, what are your key customers, where you face major challenges, or what are the process in the business which is taking majority of your time. And then that's what we understand, and then that particular discussions we convert that, okay, this kind of processes, what could be replicated with OnPrintShop, what could be replicated with some other third-party system implementing into the backend, because some system would always do a best job into their segment. For like accounting, you always need to connect with the QuickBook, for example, because you again need to do invoicing and then taxes and a lot of other accounting, which are a specialized system, maybe CRMs. So depending on the company size, depending on the number of clients, and depending on number of members you have, you need either just OnPrintShop and it will do all the job, and you might also need some maybe 2 or 3 systems to connect, because you are having that kind of infrastructure in a way. So we are open for the Q&A.
The QA button is open. If you have questions, this is a great time to go. Cal asked one just a little bit ago and able to answer that. But if you have some questions, if you'd love to ask, please hit that QA button and open up right now. I think we've answered everything, either just in process of conversation or some specific answers, if we'll answering offline as well. But again, we would love for you, if you're going to be in the Atlanta area for Printing United in a month from now in October, we would love to be able to see you face to face. We always love talking to our current customers, who I know are on a lot of this webinar, and would love to talk to new faces. What are some things that we can do for you? If you're thinking about, how do I make this jump, we want to be able to sit and talk with you about what's going on. And I think we've answered everything. I think we've answered all the questions. So I appreciate Nimish. Thank you for putting this together.
Yep. Thanks a lot. And as Trent mentioned, we look forward to meet you at Printing United. There is a unique link here, and you go on the website. There is also a pop-up. If you register, you'll also get a free pass, an exhibitor entry pass. So, and we look forward to meet you there. And if you have any
Yes.
questions, feel free to get our email. You can email us, or you can just place an inquiry on OnPrintShop, and we would be more than happy to discuss in detail.
And the recording will go out after this. So as soon as it generates, we'll send it out. So Cal, you will get that. So I hope everybody has a great, wonderful rest of the day. For those of you, especially, for those of you that are in Cape Town, hope you have a great evening. Victoria, hope you have a great rest of the day out in the Bay Area. Cal, everybody, thanks for all of you that joined, and we'll get this recording sent out.